Bonjour, SAE Paris. My name is Jacob Hellner. I work as a record producer and have been doing so for a long time, 30 years now, something like that. When I started in 1986, I walked into a studio for the first time. I didn't start producing straight away, but I started making coffee and worked as an assistant. But then a couple of years later, I started producing and been sort of doing that full time since then. In the beginning, various musical genres, but I am of course very much associated with the German pyro metal band Rammstein that I've been working with for more than 20 years. I have not attended school, but as I said, I started my career as an assistant in a studio in San Francisco, and that was my education. My take on being a producer is like, yeah, I'm like a director. You know, my main job is to focus on the performance of the artist, and that means I need to communicate well and create a good situation for the artist to be comfortable and deliver, you know, what he or she needs to deliver. It really depends on what stage the whole process of making a record is in. So you know, the good thing about being a producer is that no day is never the same. I envy people who manage to go to normal jobs and do this kind of the same thing. I never do that. It really depends on how the artist has, how their sort of writing process and how their creative process is. I'm a very big fan of working in rehearsal rooms. And I did do that with Apocalyptica, but this was a new way to them. And I think it was good, you know, that they actually, you sit down and you play the songs, so you rehearse the songs and try to understand, you know, the soul of the song. So I guess the preparation process was different, and also we had, it's more than 10 years ago, but it was, we had a tighter schedule with Apocalyptica, as I remember it. You know, they had already, before going into the studio, they had already decided on release dates and tour dates and stuff like this. So we really worked towards a deadline. And it was very tricky with, you know, in those days they didn't have a vocalist, and so there were guest vocalists, and who was going to sing on what, and all the communications regarding this made it very different. One of the more complicated projects I've done, actually, the Apocalyptica album. It's about understanding your tools. It's about understanding who you are, what you're good at, what you need help with, and understanding sort of what tools you have. And it's not about you as a producer, it's about the artist. This, I think, is the most complicated thing, you know, because people tend to be these days very self-centered.